Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. From November 1st to 7th, Russian forces report synchronized pressure across all sectors, with continued encirclement operations around Kupiansk and Krasnoarmysk, Dmitrov, a claimed capture of Uspanovka and Zaporizhia, and large-scale strikes on Ukrainian logistics, industry, transport links, and UAV infrastructure. The stated objective is to exhaust Ukrainian combat power, sever resupply, and prevent relief of encircled groupings. In the area of the settlement of Kupiansk, Kharkiv region, the enemy lost more than 345 personnel and 94 units of military equipment, including 9 armored combat vehicles, 45 vehicles, 15 artillery guns, and mortars. In total, over the week, losses of the armed forces of Ukraine in the area of responsibility of the West Group of troops amounted to over 1,540 military personnel, 33 armored combat vehicles, 138 vehicles, 12 field artillery guns, 33 ammunition warehouses, 49 electronic warfare and counter-battery stations were destroyed.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel, give us the big picture for the week of November 1-7. What defined the operational rhythm?
2 overlapping rhythms dominated. First, a theater-wide strike cadence, 7 grouped waves using precision missiles and unmanned systems aimed at defense industrial plants, gas energy support nodes, rail and roadway chokepoints, airfields, repair bases, and UAV storage and launch prep areas. That's an operational bet that if you pinch production and transportation now, you suppress the opponent's reserve generation and field maintenance when the ground freezes. Second, a deliberate ground tempo built around encirclement geometry and logistics denial. Instead of sprinting, the forces focused on starving pockets, preventing river crossing restoration, and dismantling electronic warfare and counter-battery architecture. The through line is attrition with positional control, create problems the defender can't solve quickly, then tighten the vise.
Let's start in the north. What mattered in Sumy and on Kharkiv's approaches?
The North saw incremental positional improvement, but the real story was shaping, repeated hits on reconnaissance assets, ammunition stacks, and supply depots. When you degrade ISR and depot depth across Sadki to Korchakivka and then lean on Sinelnikov and Volchansk, you're not preparing a dash, you're freezing the defender's ability to see and surge. Over the week, reported equipment and gun losses stack up, but their significance is cumulative. A battalion that can't fuel or sense can't counterpunch. This sector functions as a fixing effort. By keeping Ukrainian brigades busy along the border belt, you reduce their capacity to reinforce the main fights in the center and west. The doctrine is economy of force: apply pressure that's sustainable, soak up enemy attention, and bleed their logistics without committing undue reserves.
Does that translate into a winter offensive from the north?
Not automatically. Shaping gives options, it doesn't mandate exploitation. If logistics lines from the attacker remain resilient into December, you might see thrusts to widen the buffer. If not, the north continues to pin while other sectors consume the main effort.
Kupiansk keeps coming up. What changed this week around the Oskil crossings?
Encirclement logic hardened. Assault detachments from the 6th Army and 1st Tank Army kept pressing scattered groups inside the ring while clearing in Kupiansk-Uzlovii, Kirilivka, and Petropavlivka. Multiple relief attempts from Blahoden, Monokonivka, Moskovka, Nechvolodivka, and Petrovka were broken up, and several efforts to re-establish Oskil river crossings were cut off. The key is countermobility. If bridging trains and heavy mechanized bridge layers can't reach a destroyed crossing, encircled units become mathematically doomed. Pair that with strikes on EW and counter-battery radars, and you blind the very systems that might cover a breakout. The payoff isn't dramatic on a daily map, it's decisive on a weekly logistics ledger.
What's the risk to the encircling force?
Overconcentration. Rings attract fire. The answer is elastic arcs, mobile artillery, and disciplined rotation of assault echelons so fatigue doesn't crack the cordon. Bridges decide pockets, but stamina closes them.
The South is described as more advantageous lines. What does that mean tactically?
It means terrain that shortens your fires and lengthens the defenders. Around Siversk, Kramatorsk, Drushkivka, Nikiforivka, and Kostantinivka, the attacker sought ground that improves observation and artillery response. The numbers, tanks, AFVs, guns, depots, EW stations, matter less than their effect. Each loss complicates Ukrainian lateral moves across the industrial belt. This is bite and hold doctrine. Advance a few hundred meters where it counts, anchor, and make the next Ukrainian convoy travel farther under worse surveillance. Repeat until the belt frays.
Any catalyst for acceleration here?
A successful deep strike on a central logistics hub or a local collapse in counterbattery. Otherwise, expect the same methodical pressure.
The center reads like the main effort. What's the status of the urban fight?
The fight is cellular. In Krasnoarmeysk, assaults pushed in the eastern central district and the western industrial zone, while adjacent localities like Natavka and Rod continued clearing. Across the week, dozens of relief attempts and breakouts were reported and repelled. In Dimitrov, the 5th Motorized Rifle Brigade kept moving toward the Zapadny microdistrict, taking additional building blocks. This is multi-nuclear urban encirclement. Cut a city into compartments, isolate micro-pockets, and starve them of ammunition, medevac, and communications. You don't win with a single thrust. You win when a dozen platoon-sized pockets fail in sequence and the defender's lateral routes die. The captured vignettes, like an FPV drone disabling a tank during a breakout, illustrate how cheap, precise systems are accelerating attrition inside concrete canyons.
Urban tempo eats logistics. How is that sustained?
Rotation, engineers, and ammo discipline. Rotate assault companies before they hollow out. Keep breaching teams forward to avoid pauses, and fire for effects, not for comfort. Urban fights are decided by sustainment math.
Eastward, we heard about deeper advances and the report of Uspanivka's capture. What's the operational meaning?
It suggests trench and C2 erosion along the Dnipro-Zaporizhzhia seam. If you remove EW curtains and counter-battery pieces, company-sized probes start slipping past fixed lines with less punishment. A reported capture like Uspanivka is less about the dot on the map and more about the message. The seam can be pried if reserves are siphoned off to Kupiansk or the center. The calculus is opportunistic, probe, sense, and surge only when the defense thins.
What did the river corridor tell us this week?
Interdiction dominated, strikes on mechanized, mountain, and coastal defense formations, plus significant hits claimed against EW stations and depots. River warfare is logistics warfare, deny warehouses, jam comms, and every crossbank resupply becomes riskier and slower. Maritime pieces matter too. Unmanned surface vessels were destroyed in the Black Sea, which reduces pressure on coastal nodes and frees ISR for the river line. Winter complicates everything here. Expect more deception bridging, night moves, and dispersed ferry points, all under a heavy drone canopy to scout ice, current, and observation posts. The river rewards patience and punishes predictability.
Does the air defense picture change the river calculus?
It does. High interception rates force both sides to consume munitions faster. The side that keeps air defense and EW stocked and crews rested will own safer windows for movement.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, Stay secure.
Thank you. Tactically, 3 truths held this week. First, bridges decide pockets, deny Oskil restorations and Kupiansk's ring tightens by arithmetic, not theatrics. Second, cities are solved by cells, Krasnoarmeysk and Dimitrov will tip when enough micropockets fail, not when a single banner drops in the square. Third, EW and depots are the quiet center of gravity, knock out the eyes and the fuel, and every other problem becomes simpler. Strategically, winter favors the side that hides its logistics better and rotates its force cleanly. If the encirclements in the center contract while river crossings remain denied in the west and along the Dnipro, expect the defender to shift reserves reactively, opening seams in the east or south. Unlikely, Ukrainian spoiling attacks against artillery parks, bridging trains, and railheads could pause this tempo across multiple sectors at once. The next month is less about lines on the map and more about who sustains the attritional math without blinking.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.